When something is important enough, you do it, even if the odds are not in your favor. Life is too short for long-term grudges. Elon Musk is a business magnate and investor. He is the founder, CEO, and chief engineer of SpaceX, angel investor, CEO, and product architect of Tesla. I'd rather be optimistic and wrong than pessimistic and right. Some people don't like change, but you need to embrace change, if the alternative is disaster. If something's important enough, you should try. Even if the probable outcome is failure. Patience is a virtue, and I'm learning patience. It's a tough lesson. If you're trying to create a company, it's like baking a cake. You have to have all the ingredients in the right proportion. If you get up in the morning and think the future is going to be better, it is a bright day. Otherwise, it's not. I would like to die on Mars. Just not on impact. It's okay to have your eggs in one basket, as long as you control what happens to that basket. People should pursue what they're passionate about. That will make them happier than pretty much anything else. I think it matters whether someone has a good heart. Rockets are cool. There's no getting around that. We're running the most dangerous experiment in history right now, which is to see how much carbon dioxide the atmosphere can handle before there is an environmental catastrophe. Great companies are built on great products. Starting a business is not for everyone. Starting a business, I'd say, number one, is have a high pain threshold. It's very important to like the people you work with. Otherwise, your job is going to be quite miserable. Any product that needs a manual to work is broken. I think you should always bear in mind that entropy is not on your side. When I was in college, I wanted to be involved in things that would change the world. Really, the only thing that makes sense is to strive for greater collective enlightenment. I will never be happy without having someone. Going to sleep alone kills me. Tesla is here to stay, and keep fighting for the electric car revolution. If humanity doesn't land on Mars in my lifetime, I would be very disappointed. The key to making things affordable is design and technology improvements, as well as scale. If I'm not in love, if I'm not with a long-term companion, I cannot be happy. I don't create companies for the sake of creating companies, but to get things done. I think life on Earth must be about more than just solving problems. It's got to be something inspiring, even if it is vicarious. I think we are at the dawn of a new era in commercial space exploration. I say something, and then it usually happens. Maybe not on schedule, but it usually happens. The goal of Tesla is to accelerate sustainable energy, so we're going to take a step back and think about what's most likely to achieve that goal. If we drive down the cost of transportation in space, we can do great things. I think we have a duty to maintain the light of consciousness, to make sure it continues into the future. You could warm Mars up, over time, with greenhouse gases. I don't spend my time pontificating about high-concept things. I spend my time solving engineering and manufacturing problems. I wouldn't say I have a lack of fear. In fact, I'd like my fear emotion to be less, because it's very distracting, and fries my nervous system. I'm a Silicon Valley guy. I just think, people from Silicon Valley can do anything. The factory is the machine that builds the machine. We are the first species capable of self-annihilation. I do think there should be some regulations on AI. Man has the power to act as his own destroyer, and that is the way he has acted through most of his history. I've been to Disneyland, like, 10 times. I'm getting really tired of Disneyland. When I was a child, there's one thing I said: I never want to be alone. That's what I would say. I don't want to be alone. My opinion is, it's a bridge too far to go to fully autonomous cars. In order to have your voice be heard in Washington, you have to make some little contribution. I've actually not read any books on time management. As you heat the planet up, it's just like boiling a pot. I had so many people try to talk me out of starting a rocket company, it was crazy. I think long term, you can see Tesla establishing factories in Europe, in other parts of the US and in Asia. If anyone has a vested interest in space solar power, it would have to be me. I wish we could be private with Tesla. It actually makes us less efficient to be a public company. Land on Mars, a round-trip ticket, $500,000. It can be done. Tesla is becoming a real car company. Here in the West, people often don't like listening to their leaders, even if they are right. I usually describe myself as an engineer. That's basically what I've been doing since I was a kid. If you think back to the beginning of cell phones, laptops, or really any new technology, it's always expensive. I'm anti-tax, but I'm pro-carbon tax. I don't think it's a good idea to plan to sell a company. In the early days of aviation, there was a great deal of experimentation and a high death rate. If you had to buy a new plane every time you flew somewhere, it would be incredibly expensive. The fuel cell is just a fundamentally inferior way of delivering electrical energy to an electric motor than batteries. Silicon Valley has some of the smartest engineers and technology business people in the world. Nobody wants to buy a $60,000 electric Civic. But people will pay $90,000 for an electric sports car. The pace of progress on Mars depends upon the pace of progress of SpaceX. I'm glad to see that BMW is bringing an electric car to market. That's cool. Selling an electric sports car creates an opportunity to fundamentally change the way America drives. America is the spirit of human exploration distilled.